Good morning, it's Wendy Jacobs here with another quick video message. And today my message is going to address a question that was asked to me earlier this week by one of the viewers, and really has to do with low mood, the feeling of depression, which most people have experienced at one time or another. I want to say before I get started on this video that what I share here is my view on on depression, my view on emotions, what I've learned, what I share, what's worked for me and what's worked for my hundreds of clients. And I encourage you to perhaps take a different perspective, try out what it is that I teach you, and if it works for you, then adopt it. If it makes things better, then use it. If it doesn't, throw it out. Okay, it's completely your choice. All right, so you'll hear me talk a lot about emotions because really everything comes back to our emotions. Yeah. Another word that I like to use interchangeably with emotion is our vibration, the energy that we live from or the energy that we give out. But today I'm going to talk about emotion, the emotion of depression, which is really low mood. Okay. So emotions, in my belief, are something that we are doing. It's not actually something that's happening to us. A lot of us believe that we have emotions happen to us, like we have depression or we have anxiety. It's funny that we actually don't say things like we have joy or we have happiness. The truth is, we actually do our emotions. And what I mean by that is that there are specific things that we do that actually influence what it is that we're feeling. Lucky, it's only 3 things. And I have a blog on my webpage if you want to read about this in more detail, but you've got to scroll right down because it's one of my first blogs. I learnt this from Tony Robbins. He puts it quite simply when he talks about the triad. The triad, just 3 things that we do at any one moment that's influencing the way that we feel. And what those things are is, number 1, our physiology. What we do with our body influences what we feel. And if you've watched my earlier videos on morning rituals, on dancing, on, throwing your arms out and breathing deeply and doing all of these crazy gestures with your body, the reason I encourage that is because 80% of what you feel is activated through your nervous system. So it makes complete sense that when you are down and out, when you are down and out, many of us have been in this place where it's really hard to get out of this headspace. No matter how much we try, we just keep coming back to what it is that's bothering us in here and in here. But when you understand that your physiology, the way that you move, has 80% influence, then what I encourage you to do then is throw yourself firstly into a practice of physiology that makes you feel good. Yeah. So for me, after my breakup, it was the gym. Yeah, I punched, I ran, I kicked, I hopped, I stumped. I did everything that I could first thing in the morning when I got up. Because when I did get up back then, I got up with this feeling of grief, like real grief in my chest. So much so that when I got up, my breathing almost felt impaired. It was almost like a heaving that I was feeling, and there was nothing that I could do in my mind that could shake it. But I could get myself, even though some mornings it was really tough, to the gym, and I would jump, hop, kick, as fast as I could. I gave it everything. And what that does physiologically, it releases all the positive hormones, serotonin, dopamine, all that stuff is just flooded into your body. And you just start to feel good. The very same chemicals that are manufactured to, I suppose, mimic this in antidepressants and all the rest. You can actually do this yourself quite naturally through exercise. These days, I much prefer to dance and yoga. And so my routine these days is dance. I love music and I find it just so joyful. I've got playlists that I've shared with you, and just by moving my body and getting into my groove first thing in the morning, even though it drives my children nuts, it is what I do every single day to get myself into a peak feeling. Whatever that is, whether it's I want to feel joyful, if I want to feel powerful, I've got a powerful playlist, whatever it is, just to get myself very quickly. And what I find also, just as a byproduct of doing that, for those parents that are watching, is that playing these lists first thing in the morning also influences my children. Yeah? So as they can hear this music in the background, you start to see that they start to move to it, and they start to sing to it, and they start to dance to it, and all of a sudden I have a pretty happy household. We have morning people in my home. Okay, so getting back to your question, Samantha, about depression. 80% of what you feel is in your physiology. So I encourage you right now, when you're at your lowest point, to find something that you will commit to as soon as you get up, first thing. At first, just like anything, it will be tough. Yeah, it's like the first time you go to the gym and you commit to this regime and I'm going to lose weight. That first day can be quite tough. Yeah, you pick up that weight and it's like, ugh. But the more frequently you do it, you show up every single day, it gets easier and easier and easier. It's a muscle that you're building. And so is your happiness muscle. Because when you get up every single morning and you commit to feeling good, then you start to create what we call a new neural pathway in your brain. Because every single behavior, every single emotion has what we call a neural pathway in our brains. And what happens is when we experience that, it elicits that in our brain, right? And it gives us the physiological experience. It gives us the energetic experience of whatever it is that we're focused on, whatever it is that we're experiencing. So if you exercise your happiness muscle every single day, just like you may have unconsciously exercised, and I say this with respect, exercised your depression muscle or your sadness muscle or your anxiety muscle, this becomes something that you quickly resort to instead of the negative emotions. Yeah, most of us never think about how we've trained ourselves into feeling shit, and that's exactly what we've done. We have trained ourselves into feeling bad. Think of how a depressed person carries themselves physiologically in their body. How do they hold their shoulders? How do they hold their chest? How do they breathe? All right, shoulders down, eyes down, breathing shallow, walking slowly. I mean, you can look around almost anywhere, on public transport, school grounds, waiting rooms, and you can see a lot of people adopting a physiology of low mood. And some people have gotten so used to doing this so frequently over time that they actually believe that this is them. It's just who I am. I have depression, or I have anxiety, or I have anger issues. No, you don't have those things. You are doing those things. And if any other one of us decided to do those things frequently, we would have that too. I've been depressed and it's because I was doing it. I've been anxious because I was doing it. I've been angry because I was doing it. And by being accountable, by recognizing that it's what I'm doing that's having me feel what I'm feeling, then at least I have the choice to change it if I want to. Because often when we're in this space, we can feel stuck, absolutely stuck, like there is nothing that we can do, that this is the way life is going to be and this is just the way we are. But that is the furthest thing from the truth. So I encourage you to take on what you're hearing here today, if you're in that place, and start to do something that feels good for you. Move, gesture, throw your arms out, right? Just by doing this, you are opening your chest and you are forcing yourself to breathe. By smiling, there's actually research on this, that a bunch of researchers went into a mental institution. They split groups up into two groups, the depressed people, and all they got one group to do was look up, shoulders back, and smile at the ceiling for like 5 minutes a day. And they asked those people who were clinically depressed in that moment while they're doing this to get depressed without changing a thing. And what these people found is that they couldn't get depressed without changing the thing. They had to change what they were doing and get into this sad place to feel the sadness. Okay? I want to have a little word of warning here. This is not to dismiss the fact that many of you may be going through something really tough. Right? I'm teaching you this stuff not to say, hey, you know what? Don't worry about the stuff that's going on. Just, be happy and just do all those things. Yes, these things will help. Yes, they will shift you. They will take you out of a place of feeling like you're stuck when things are getting really bad. They will help you get into a more empowered state. But these are resources to help you be more resourceful to deal with the things that you need to deal with, yeah? Because those things, the reason you're feeling negative emotion in the first place is because your attention is being called to something. And you don't want to ignore that. Your emotions have brought it up. You don't want to stay stuck there. You don't want to be helpless. You don't want to feel like this is the way life is, right? This is why I'm giving you these exercises. So use the exercises, getting yourself into a more empowered state, and then know how to work through those challenges from a more empowered place. Okay, so I've talked about physiology. How about the rest of the triad? Focus of thought. What you think about will influence how you feel. If you think about shitty things, guess what? You will feel shitty. If you think about joyful things, guess what? You will feel joyful. If you think about things that make you angry, yeah, it'll make you angry. If you think about things that make you feel betrayed and hurt, you will feel hurt. It's common sense. What we think about influences how we feel. So you need to gain conscious control, conscious influence over what it is you choose to think about. Now, again, a word of warning. This is not to say to just ignore all the things that are going on in your life that might not feel good to you. This is to tell you not to get so focused there that you're stuck, that you become unresourceful and you start to lead this really depleted life of unhappiness. right? This is to say that have those feelings, recognize that they're there, right? Through your thoughts, I paid attention to that, right? Get yourself into a more resourceful place. How do you do that? Ask yourself a question. What can I do about this? A positive question, a question that's aligned with the outcome that you want. But often what we do, and I'm going to use weight loss as an example because it's an easy one, we might be in a place where, I'm feeling really fat and I feel really fat. Gets you into this shit feeling. You start focusing on how you feel fat and how your clothes don't fit and how you don't look good and how you don't feel good and you're lethargic. And, the more you focus on that, the worse you feel. And often people will ask themselves disempowering questions like, why do I feel fat? Or why am I fat? Why can't I lose weight? By asking those kinds of questions that are not aligned with what you want, you're only going to get answers that are not aligned with what you want. So common sense, right, would be to ask yourself questions that are aligned with the outcome. How do I get more energetic? How can I lose weight? How can I feel good whilst I am learning to take better care of myself? By asking yourself questions that are aligned with the outcome you want, right? You start to get answers aligned with the outcome that you want. But that's going off point a little bit. So your focus influences how you feel. So learn that what you're feeling is massively influenced by what you're thinking. So discipline yourself to shift those thoughts. Sometimes that's really hard. Again, when you're in a bad space, it's difficult. I understand. So do things to make it easy. Any better feeling thought. For me, and I shared this with a client yesterday, is that in my phone, I under galleries, I have lots of little albums, and I've titled those albums different things. And one of them is appreciation, where I've got photos of all the things that I'm so grateful and so appreciative for. And just looking at those photos makes me feel good. They're all my favorite memories, my favorite parties, travel, friends. And then I have another little album that I've titled Babies. And I love this one. This is an album of all of my 3 children when they were much younger, all their little baby shots. And honestly, this melts my heart. I can look at this album gazillion times and get myself into this place. And I'm just thinking about it makes me feel quite teary with love and just feel so appreciative and so in love and so grateful and so blessed to have had these 3 beautiful, beautiful little angels brought into my life. So I use aids, I use things that help me direct my attention, right? You can do so many things. These are just a couple of ideas. If you want more, again, I'm available. Send me a private message and we can organize a time to speak and I can help you through this process if you really need help to get out of a depressed state that you may feel stuck in. And the third thing, language and meaning. The words that we give an experience becomes the experience. Right? So if we say this sucks, guess what? It sucks. This is not fair. It's not fair. If I say this is, I feel betrayed, then you'll feel betrayed. But if you say to yourself, this is a challenge. This is an opportunity for me to learn. This is something that I can grow from. In those really tough moments, it might be hard to reach for a better meaning. Right? It might be really, really, really hard. But the more you exercise it, the easier you get. I'm going to give you a little fluffy example that I like to share. And this has to do with my home. Okay. Once upon a time, I lived in a home which was immaculate, absolutely gorgeous, looked like a display home. And people would often comment and say things like that. Say, wow, your house is gorgeous. Looks like a display home. And that to me, back before I had my children, was a compliment. I loved it. It looked really good. I put a lot of pride and effort into the way that it looked. And then I had my 3 little munchkins and I would come home and as I walked in, there'd be shoes and school bags and toys and dishes and all of that stuff, right? And so sometimes I'd come home and I'd see that and be the first thing that I see. And it'd be really easy to look at that, give that my focus, give it a meaning, right? The words that I attached to it, give it a meaning that didn't feel good. And the meaning was, my house is a mess. This place is a pigsty. You guys aren't being very helpful. By giving it those kinds of meanings, right? I didn't feel good. The people in my home didn't feel good, right? I want to tell you here that everything you attach meaning to, you've made up. Nothing has any meaning except the meaning that you've given it. Our world is up to our interpretation. I may look at the mess in my home and go, wow, what a pigsty. But these days, I look at the mess in my home and think, dear God, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I mean, look at this. I have children. Yeah, bicycles, shoes, bags. This is a reflection of a goal, of a dream that I once had. I once dreamed to have this family, and now I do, and I am blessed. And I go into my kitchen and there's dishes everywhere. Yeah, I had people over. I have friends. They came over. We laughed, we talked, we cried, we giggled. It was amazing. I am completely blessed to have my kitchen look like this. It is the meaning that I've given it. Okay? Meanings are not real. You get to choose them. Choose ones that make you feel good, right? Most of us are so unconscious about the meanings we attach to things. In every given moment, we have a choice. We have a choice. These are the choices. What do I focus on? What does it mean? You're making that up. Make it empowering. And what am I going to do? Because you always have a choice. You can change the way it means, what it means. You can change your focus, or you can shift your physiology. These are 3 little tidbits that I'm sharing with you today to help you quickly get yourself out of a low mood. This is not the overall answer, by the way. These are strategies to help you to get into a more empowered state. They can massively help you do lots of things and beyond, but sometimes there's deeper work to be done. I just want to say that to you. So if everything that I've shared here with you today helps you, I'm blessed for that, and so are you. And if you still find that you need more, like I said, contact me. On this video, and I shared this in the video earlier this week, there's a link. Please click on the link if you want to join my private group, because in that private group, I'm going to be sharing a lot more of these videos a lot more frequently. Also, you have the opportunity to ask me questions and I will address your questions. And it's an interactive group, so I want to see you share stuff that's been helpful to you. Tips, articles, keeping you updated on anything that I believe will be of value to you. So Samantha, here's a bit of a long answer to your quick question. I hope that it's been really helpful to you today and to anybody else that's been watching this video. And as always, live consciously and filled with love. Mwah. God bless. Goodbye. Have a beautiful day.